Did you know that 80% of small businesses fail to grow because they're tracking the wrong metrics? Let's make sure that your tutoring business isn't part of that statistic by focusing on what really matters. Now, coming up in this video, here's what you are going to learn: the key metrics that truly matter for growing your tutoring business and why vanity metrics like likes and views are misleading. A simple yet effective system for tracking where your clients are coming from, and the most common mistakes tutors make when marketing their tutoring business and how to avoid them. Now, I once worked with a tutor who had created, get this, over 100 videos on YouTube, but hadn't gotten a single client. He was convinced that if he just kept making videos showing how to solve math problems, someone would eventually hire him. And the problem? He was focusing on quantity over quality and putting out as many videos as possible instead of creating the right type of content. None of his followers were converting to paying students. And together, we changed his strategy. And by shifting his focus to content that addressed what parents and students were truly searching for, within months, he started booking clients from his new videos. Now, here is why vanity metrics don't work. All right. Likes, views, and followers are superficial metrics. They don't reflect business growth. Sure, they make us feel good because people are actually watching the content and they're liking it, but you have no idea sometimes how long they're watching the content, where they're dropping off, and really focusing on all of those bits and pieces. And it can be so convoluted at times that you're just like, okay, this is really frustrating and it's too overwhelming to really track all of this. So these metrics, they can create like this false sense of progress or a false sense of not enough progress, and they really distract from what actually matters. Conversions, right? Did it get me a student? So, let's talk about the metrics that do matter. You want to track actionable data, like how did clients actually find you? Which platforms did they find you on? And what strategies led to inquiries? You want to ask every single client where they found you, and then you want to gather that reliable data. But how do you track that effectively? You can use a simple system like a spreadsheet to log client leads, their sources, and outcomes. You're going to create a spreadsheet with columns for the client name, the source, the date, and notes. And you're going to want to regularly update it with each new lead that you get. Then analyze it monthly or quarterly to see which strategies are working. You want to make sure that you have regular analysis for consistent improvement. So, analyze your data regularly so that you can spot those trends and refine your strategies. Consistent analysis allows you to double down on what's working and eliminate what's not. Now, here are some common mistakes and how you can avoid them. The first one: never asking clients how they found you. Sometimes we're just like, we get so excited about having the conversation with them that we forget to ask this information. So there's a couple ways that you can handle this. If you do happen to forget, automatically put it on an intake form when they get started working with you. How did you find me? How did you hear about me? You've seen this before where you have to choose one of the selections: Facebook, Google Business Profile, or website, right? You've seen something like that before. Referral, all of those good kind of things. That's exactly what you need to do as well, is either ask them personally and then also put it on an intake form. And this will double down on making sure that you get the information that you need. Here's another one. People just think, why bother in even going through with any of this when I can just spend money on ads? But here's the thing: they don't have a clear target audience and they think that ads are going to work. Ads are expensive. Ads are even more expensive when you don't have a clean funnel. Not having a clean funnel means that you don't have a website that's perfectly optimized. You don't have a freebie that's going to get them onto your email list that is then going to collect their information. A lot of times people will just message you inside your inbox. These are cold leads, and then they're really hard to convert into clients, and they just ask, how much do you charge? So I know we want to give up and we just want to be like, let me just do ads instead. I promise you that right now you're probably not at the stage in your business where ads can even be a thing that you could effectively manage. And the third mistake that people make is they want to speak to a general audience instead of their ideal client. And here's why this is a mistake. Some people like, yeah, but golly, I can tutor like first grade on up to eighth grade. Sure, you can. I do not doubt your capability. But here's the thing when it comes to marketing your business, what a first grader needs and what an eighth grader needs are completely different. And so you have to water down your message instead of really diving deep into your messaging so that you can connect with parents. Let me give you an example. So let's say that we have the first grader, right? And I've got a first grader, I'm trying to attract them. What I want to think about what is the parent thinking, feeling, hearing, seeing, doing. I really want to get inside of their mind for their child. All right. So if I get inside of that mindset, I can say, so you have taught your child the alphabet and the letters that go with it and the sounds, right? But now you're wondering, why is my kid in first grade and still struggling with learning to read? I felt like once they had those pieces that everything would just naturally fall into place. But for some reason, it wasn't enough. And maybe when they're reading, they're sounding out each of the letters, but they just can't blend it together. I have the secret to making this all better. If you are interested, you can sign up for a free assessment and we can find out what is holding your child back from being able to read. So that's the first grader. And here's now the eighth grader, right? Like I can dive deep into if I know and want to attract like eighth grade students, I can say, so your child is ready to go into high school soon, yet they're still struggling with reading. You thought after the massive interventions at school and the help that was given that clearly this would be solved at this point in time. But it seems like with each grade, the reading that kids are expected to read gets harder and harder. And your child has gotten to the point where they've just given up. I can help. Let me help them before they enter high school so they can be more independent and they can understand at a deeper level the things that they're reading. Do you see the difference between those two different messages? This is because I chose a specific audience. Right now, I went to grade level. You don't have to go as deep as grade level. Typically, when I'm thinking about my ideal student, they're between K and 3, and that's how I have the conversation. But I wanted you to see that big difference of the words that I used and the empathy that I used and all of those things so that you can understand the difference between why I need to niche down because I want to be heard by a specific group of people who want to hire me. Now that you know how to track the metrics that actually matter, it is time to put the system into action. Now, I want you to imagine how much easier it will be to attract students when you're focused on what works instead of wasting time on strategies that don't. I've created a simple tool to make this process even easier for you. It is called the Tutor Marketing Metrics Tracker, and it is a ready made spreadsheet for you designed to help you log and analyze your leads effortlessly. And all you need to do is download it, customize it, and start tracking. Click the link in the description to grab your free copy of the Tutor Marketing Metrics Tracker and start transforming your marketing strategy today. And if you're serious about growing your tutoring business, this is your first step to turning your efforts into real results.